Let's welcome in West Virginia head coach Rich Rodriguez. Welcome to Speak, Rich. Thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having me. Good to see a couple of the old veterans on the screen right there.
No, we here, man. It's your second time around at West Virginia. The first time you were there from 01 to 07. What's it like being back in Morgantown?
Well, it takes, your first year on the job, maybe 8 to 9 months to kind of figure out the lay of the land. To me, it was like 8 to 9 minutes. I know where all the bodies are buried and the traps are laid. I know, where I need to go to solve some problems. But the game is different. The dynamics have changed in college sports. And, as a coach, I better not be the same coach I was 20 years ago. I better be a better coach. And so, it's been good to be back. But, we got issues like everybody else does in certain things. But we can win. And we've won before. The dynamics are different. But we can win now, too.
What's up, Coach? I am an alumni of the Big 12 that went to Kansas, and it looks unrecognizable for me at this point, seeing West Virginia in there. But talk to me. What are your goals this season in the wide-open Big 12?
Well, first year, I always say this. Our goal is to win the league every year. Like, people worry about, what do you think about the playoffs? And then I could give a crap about the playoffs. If you win the league, you're in.
Yeah.
And that's our goal every year. Is the first goal is to win the league. And what do we got to do to win it? Now, there's a lot of unknowns. I mean, it's not coach speak. I got 72 new players. 3/4 of my team are new. And half of those weren't here for the spring. So I think I know what I have, but until we go through August camp, I won't know for sure. But we got enough talent. We got enough good players that if we play really well and we have some fortune, we can win it. I think we can win it all at West Virginia. That's going to take a lot of work, and we're not going to be ready maybe right away, but things are in place to do that.
Your first foray at West Virginia, your first time through, you played fast. You were one of the first college guys. We're going to hurry up, we're going to play, we're going to force the defense to make adjustments, or they're going to make mistakes. Talk to us about the tempo at which you want to play at and how important that is for your offense.
Yeah, it's always been. Back then, there wasn't as many teams doing tempo, so it was a little more unique. Since then, a lot of people have done it at all levels. But I still think conditioning is one of the most overlooked factors in football. And I still think that if you control the tempo offensively, whether you're going fast all the time or part of the time, whatever, you can kind of dictate to the defense when you want the ball snapped. And, defenses nowadays are so creative in how they scheme and how they fit on the front side and fit on the back side and different packages they bring in for third down. You better have an answer offensively that limits what they can do on defense scheme-wise. And so that's all part of it. Plus, who pays money to watch a bunch of fat guys hold hands in a huddle? Not me.
I like that.
Let the fat guys get lined up, snap the ball, and let's play.
So the transfer portal has been a huge thing in college football. How has it helped you reshape West Virginia's program?
Well, because we lost a lot of seniors, and then we had a handful others that went in the portal. We got 60 transfers, I think 15 new guys, freshmen coming in. The entire roster was not completely flipped, but almost completely flipped. And I don't want that to be that every year. But if somebody goes and pays an inordinate amount of money for a backup that we have or something like that, then we may have more guys that are transferring in. I like to build the roster from guys that had 3 or 4 years to go. But I told our staff, let's get the best players we can get. If they got 1 year left and they're the best player, let's take him. If they got 3 years or 4 years left, that's even better. So I think the dynamic has changed, and as a coach, you can't be stubborn and say, I'm only going to take high school kids or I'm only going to take portal guys. It's just the best guys we can get.
Man, that's changing up the whole dynamic. Coach, you banned some players from dancing on TikTok. Have you had to discipline anybody yet for breaking that rule?
No. It's funny to me. Like, I didn't really know much about TikTok, but I actually didn't know about guys dancing until some of my upperclassmen said, Coach, can you stop this? I'm like, what? And he said, some of our guys are putting on their uniform and dancing in their locker room. All my buddies think that's all of us and it's embarrassing. I'm like, yeah, sure. Hell, you can't do it. First off, I told those guys, if they could actually dance and make money off of it, I'd be fine. But they can't dance. I see them. They're not going to get paid for it. So let's try to get good at football where you can get paid for it and make some money that way. So that was the whole deal behind that.
That's funny.
Coach, you coached Pac-Man Jones, Chris Henry, and as you know, the late Chris Henry has a son, Chris Henry Jr. I'm sure you recruited him. Give me some similarities that you've seen from coaching the father that you see in the son now.
Well, I don't know if I can talk about him because he's an underclassman.
Really?
Yeah, can't talk on it.
Yeah, but I do know who he is, and have known who he is since he was playing a little bit. And obviously, Pac-Man calls me all the time. I love talking to Pac, and he's I've kept him. He's kept me abreast of all his things, and one of the things is doing with Chris Jr. and the rest of the family that Pac-Man, and that brings me part of what our goal as a program would be. Here are Pac-Man and Chris both came to our program from completely different environments, one from Atlanta, one from New Orleans, and those guys were ultra competitive, and they became really, really close as players. And then when Chris tragically passed away, Pac-Man stepped in with his family. And to me, that's part of the whole culture and environment that we want to build at West Virginia, where our guys are truly our family, no matter where you're from, and they take care of each other for the rest of their lives. And so that was something that's really pretty neat.
Coach, I've had an opportunity to work with TJ a lot and Keyshawn, and it's rough working with this guy. What's your relationship like with Keyshawn?
Oh, Keyshawn, great. I'm telling you, I'm not kidding you. Keyshawn want to know what he would have got paid back in the day. That's sure. And he would have been one that was, worth getting a little extra too on the side. You know what I mean? I would have had some guys calling like, hey, I know you got a nice car dealership, but I got to keep this guy because he's wide receiver number one. And dudes are trying to, and I don't think Keyshawn would have played one. Nah, hell, he would have played one off the other. Say, hey, coach, hey, I got the school hammering me. I don't want to leave. What you got to do to keep me? You kind of deal.
Well, of course.
But I need that. I need a Keyshawn right now. That's one of my needs. I need because we're going to run the football, right? And they're going to put everybody up in there, and I'm going to need somebody one-on-one out there that can beat anybody we play against.
So Coach, when you were at U of A or even at Michigan for the most part, you were allowed to travel outside the state where the university was at to hold your football camps, and we gave some out here in California for you. Do you think that rule should be back in play where you can do your football camps in any state that you choose to?
I do, but I also think, Keyshawn, that what we need to do fixing college football is that let's not kid ourselves. Our guys are now pros. Let's follow the NFL model as close as we can because that's the most successful pro organization. They got it figured out. If you want to do right by the players, I don't know how they can't be employees, get multi-year contracts, have a CBA so they get a bigger piece of the pie, and everything is run on an equal basis, that kind of deal. And, right now it's kind of crazy. You guys as veterans will know you wouldn't want some 4th or 5th round rookie making more than a 5-year veteran, would you? That's not going to happen. Well, in college, it's happening. And so there's so many rules that have to be fixed that if we followed some of the NFL model, especially with tampering and contracts and all that kind of stuff, we would be in a better place because our days of being collegiate and being a collegiate model are over. We are now pros, and we need to follow the pro model.
I know you, being a head coach, you also have been a coordinator. You've coached other positions. You've scouted, you evaluate talent before, but I need you to evaluate Paul Pierce as a defensive rush in on the left or the right side. We got a clip that we want to show
Coach.
you. What?
Go into this with an open mind now. Oh, look at that.
First off, he barely fits in those skinny jeans he's got in. He may need to reevaluate his attire before he gets out there.
Yeah, I don't think Paul's made out to do that.
He just got his ass whipped. I'm just telling you. I don't know about right there, but
I got low right there, Coach.
He did got low. You know what? And I always said this. I have never recruited a guy that was a really good two-sport athlete like basketball and football that didn't turn out to be a really good football player. So, but they got to be willing to, get their face in the fan a little bit too, So,
yeah. Well, thanks a lot for joining us here on Speak, Coach Rob. We really appreciate it, and good luck in West Virginia this year in the Big 12 Conference.
Appreciate it. Got great respect for you guys. Appreciate you.